It begins quietly, so quietly that no one sees it coming. You're just 7, silently watching a parent unravel before you. Maybe it's a struggle with addiction, maybe it's bursts of anger, or maybe it's just a quiet, empty shell of a person who can't show up. In that moment, something ancient clicks on inside you. Your heart is pounding and you hold your breath. If I don't keep it together, who will, you think? This is how a child disappears. Not physically, but inside, into silence. You force yourself to smile more. You learn to swallow your tears. You become careful, almost as if you can sense everything in the room before you even speak. You become the strong one of the family, a small adult with a big responsibility. Everyone around you praises how mature and reliable you are, but no one ever asks, at what cost? Inside, you wonder what happened to your childhood. This is the hidden sorrow of growing up too soon. These experiences don't just vanish once you become an adult. They stay with you, shaping your relationships, your career choices, and your sense of self. If you don't notice these roots, you end up replaying those old survival patterns. Once they kept you alive, now they might keep you trapped. Psychologists even have a name for what you've been through: parentification. It's when a child is forced into a parental role, becoming the caregiver, the peacemaker, the emotional support, the protector. This role reversal is a weight no child should ever have to carry. It doesn't just hurt emotionally, it actually rewires your brain. When a child is put in charge of everyone's feelings, their nervous system learns to stay on constant alert. You grow up always scanning for trouble, tiptoeing around others' moods so you don't set off any alarms. You start to believe that love is something you have to earn by keeping the peace. Your own needs begin to feel dangerous or selfish, while everyone else's needs feel urgent. Emotionally, you shrink. You become the good child, quiet, responsible, always fixing things and never asking for help. You wear that mask of strength so perfectly that even you forget how you feel beneath it. But deep down, that little kid inside you is still hurting, crying out silently. Why was I left alone with this burden? Over time, the survival habits you developed in childhood can become challenges in adulthood. You might grow fiercely independent, refusing help and pushing people away because asking for help still feels unsafe. You could find that joy feels foreign or undeserved. You feel numb even in happy moments, always waiting for something to go wrong. Rest can feel impossible, as if you only feel worthy when you're busy. You start to think being tired is a badge of honor. In fact, exhaustion becomes a trophy. The busier and more worn you are, the more valuable you feel. You almost forget what it feels like to do nothing and just be okay. You may not even realize how tense you've become because chaos feels normal by now. Your nervous system got so used to stress that calm feels wrong. Peace makes you uneasy, and love can start to feel like a debt you'll have to repay. This isn't just sadness, it's deep trauma, and it changes how you see the world and yourself. You might wonder, why would any child take on that role in the first place? The answer is simple: attachment. A child will do almost anything to keep love, even if it means sacrificing a piece of themselves. It's not a conscious choice. We're wired that way. When safety isn't guaranteed, the child learns to give up authenticity for belonging. This isn't weakness, it's survival wisdom. But here's the tragedy. What saved you then can trap you now. Many people who grew up like this become high-functioning adults who appear to have made it. Yet inside, that neglected inner child is still quietly steering the ship. You chase achievements to prove your worth. You stay silent to prevent conflict. You pour yourself into caring for others while secretly longing for someone to care for you. You imagine that one day someone will see through your facade and give you permission to finally break down. That longing for someone to see and hold you belongs to the child you once were, not the adult you've become. And the first step toward healing isn't fixing everything. It's acknowledging the pain. You might find yourself thinking, it wasn't that bad, or others have it worse, or I turned out fine. But those are just stories you tell yourself to avoid feeling hurt. Healing starts with validating that you did deserve better. It's telling your inner child, I see you, I hear you, I believe you. So what does this look like in real life? You may be the therapist in all your friendships, always offering advice and support while never letting people see how you really feel. You might be praised for being independent, while inside you're terrified of needing anyone. You may find yourself in relationships where you overfunction. You fix problems, manage everyone's feelings, and over-explain yourself. Yet, you still end up feeling resentful that your own needs go unnoticed. You might even apologize simply for crying, as if your tears were an imposition on others. You flinch at compliments and kindness, convinced you don't deserve them. You may have learned to equate exhaustion with success, thinking that only endless productivity makes you worthy. Setting boundaries can feel impossible because saying no triggers fears of losing the safety you've built. These aren't permanent flaws, they're coping strategies you learned as a child. And the good news is they can be unlearned. But to do that, you have to stop idolizing your strength and start honoring your wounds. One powerful step is to talk to that younger you and ask, what did I need back then that I never got? You might hear answers like, I needed someone to tell me it wasn't my fault. I needed someone to notice I was hurting and ask if I was okay. I needed space to play and rest without guilt. Slowly, very slowly, you can start giving those things to yourself now. This isn't about rewriting the past, it's about changing the present so you don't keep reliving it. This is how you stop seeking parents in your partners. This is how you stop mistaking your chronic anxiety for intuition, and how you stop running away from the child you were and the adult you're becoming. The psychologist Carl Jung once said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain, and we often go to great lengths to avoid facing our true selves. But healing asks us to face it all, the scared parts, the ashamed parts, the hurt parts of us. True healing isn't about becoming someone new, it's about reconnecting with who you were before the world told you who to be. If you grew up too fast, remember this. Your strength was a response to a situation you didn't choose. Now, you have a choice. You can choose softness. You can choose rest. You can choose to stop holding everyone else's emotions and start honoring your own. It won't happen overnight. Some days you'll feel like that little kid again, and that's okay, even needed. Let that child come out to cry, to play, to feel safe, because that's where real healing begins. You weren't broken, you were doing what you had to do. Now you're learning how to be whole. For the first time, you get to grow up in a new way, not through pressure or fear, but through truth. Your childhood may have been stolen, but your future is still yours to write. This time, you get to be the author of a life where you're finally whole. Allow that child to finally breathe and watch how beautifully you begin to grow.